The stars above the desolate moon of Krylos. 9 burned cold and distant, casting an eerie silver glow over the jagged landscape. Prince Zyn'ar of the Krylosian Empire lay crumpled in the shadow of a crumbling obsidian spire, his once pristine royal armor now cracked and scorched. His breathing was shallow, his body weak from days without food or water. The betrayal still burned hotter than the wounds on his side. His own people had left him here to die. Zyn'ar had been the pride of the Krylosian Empire, the youngest prince in a line of fierce warriors and brilliant strategists. But when his older brother, Prince Zyn'ar, had staged a coup, Zyn'ar had been framed for treason. His father, the Emperor, had been too blinded by Zyn'ar's lies to see the truth. And so, Zyn'ar had been exiled to this barren moon, a place reserved for the Empire's most despised criminals. He closed his eyes, the weight of despair pressing down on him. The Krylosians were a proud race, valuing strength above all else. To be forsaken was the ultimate dishonor. Zyn'ar had accepted his fate. He would die here, alone and forgotten. But the universe had other plans. The sound of engines broke the silence. At first, Zyn'ar thought it was a hallucination, a cruel trick of his dying mind. But the noise grew louder, a deep rumble that vibrated through the ground. He forced his eyes open, squinting against the glare of a descending spacecraft. It was unlike any ship he had ever seen, sleek and angular, with a design that spoke of advanced technology. The Krylosian Empire prided itself on its fleet, but this vessel was something else entirely. The ship landed with a soft thud, its engines whirring to a halt. A ramp extended, and a figure emerged. Zyn'ar's breath caught in his throat. It was a human. Humans were a relatively new species in the galactic community, known for their resilience and ingenuity. They had only recently begun exploring the stars, but they had already made a name for themselves. Zyn'ar had heard stories of their bravery, their ability to survive in the harshest conditions. But he had never seen one in person. She was small compared to him, her frame slender but strong. Her skin was pale, her hair a fiery red that seemed to glow in the moonlight. She wore a fitted spacesuit, its design practical yet elegant. In her hands, she carried a device that scanned the area, its soft beeps echoing in the stillness. Her eyes, a striking shade of green, locked onto his. "Hey," she called out, her voice carrying a strange accent. "Are you okay?" Zyn'ar tried to respond, but his voice failed him. He managed a weak groan, his body trembling as he attempted to sit up. The human girl was at his side in an instant, her hands gentle but firm as she helped him lean against the spire. "Easy there," she said, her tone soothing. "You're in bad shape. What happened to you?" Zyn'ar hesitated. Could he trust her? She was a stranger, an alien. But something in her eyes, a warmth, a sincerity, made him lower his guard. Betrayed, he rasped, his voice barely audible. "Left here to die." The girl's expression darkened, her lips pressing into a thin line. "That's messed up. Don't worry, I've got you. My name's Lila, by the way. Lila Carter." "Zyn'ar," he managed to say. "Nice to meet you." "Zyn'ar," Lila said with a small smile. "Now, let's get you out of here." Lila's ship, the Starblade, was a marvel of human engineering. Its interior was cozy yet efficient, filled with gadgets and tools that Zyn'ar had never seen before. Lila helped him into a med bay, where a robotic arm began scanning his injuries. "You're lucky I found you," Lila said as she worked. "I was just passing through this sector when my sensors picked up a faint energy signature. Thought it might be something interesting. Turns out it was you." Zyn'ar watched her with a mixture of awe and gratitude. Why are you helping me?" Lila paused, her hands hovering over a control panel. She looked at him, her green eyes soft but determined. Because it's the right thing to do. No one deserves to be left like that. And besides, she added with a grin, I've got a bit of a soft spot for underdogs. Zyn'ar felt a strange warmth in his chest, a feeling he hadn't experienced in a long time. Hope. Over the next few days, Lila nursed Zyn'ar back to health. She was resourceful and kind, her presence a balm to his wounded spirit. She told him stories of her adventures, of the places she'd seen and the people she'd met. Zyn'ar, in turn, shared his own story, of his family, his betrayal, and his desire for justice. So, what's your plan now? Lila asked one evening as they sat in the ship's observation deck, the stars stretching out before them. Zyn'ar clenched his fists, his resolve hardening. I will return to Krylos. I will expose my brother's lies and reclaim my honor. Lila nodded, her expression serious. That's not going to be easy. You'll need allies, resources, and a really good plan. I know, Zyn'ar said, but I cannot do it alone. Lila smiled, placing a hand on his arm. Good thing you're not alone anymore. Their journey to Krylos was fraught with danger. Zyn'ar had declared Zyn'ar a traitor, and his face was plastered on every wanted poster in the Empire. But Lila's ingenuity and Zyn'ar's knowledge of his people allowed them to slip through the cracks. They gathered allies, former soldiers who had been loyal to Zyn'ar, citizens who had grown disillusioned with Zyn'ar's rule. The final confrontation took place in the Grand Hall of the Krylosian Palace. Zyn'ar stood on the dais, his smug grin faltering as Zyn'ar and Lila entered, flanked by their growing army. Brother, Zyn'ar said, his voice steady, your reign of lies ends today. Zyn'ar sneered. You think you can defeat me? You're nothing but a forsaken prince. Maybe, Zyn'ar said, his eyes blazing with determination. But I'm not alone. The battle was fierce, but Zyn'ar's cause was just. With Lila by his side, he fought with a strength he didn't know he had. In the end, Zyn'ar was defeated, his lies exposed. The Emperor, realizing his mistake, stepped down, and Zyn'ar was crowned the new ruler of the Krylosian Empire. As the celebrations began, Zyn'ar found Lila standing on a balcony, gazing at the stars. He joined her, his heart full of gratitude. Thank you, he said softly. I couldn't have done this without you. Lila smiled, her green eyes sparkling. You'd have done the same for me. Zyn'ar hesitated, then took her hand. Stay with me, he said, not as a rescuer, but as a partner. Together, we can build a better future for both our peoples. Lila's smile widened, and she squeezed his hand. I'd like that.